everybody. Benita Hudson, your psychic coach, here with your April forecast. I start off by pulling our card for the month. And the card is the Maiden of Winter. So we'll see how that plays out in this particular spread. One went flying. And interestingly enough, that was the chaos die. Okay, very interesting when that one just flies right off of the mat. And nothing, nothing this time is sitting in the core. And we have one that has jumped the mat as well as the chaos die. So that's intriguing. So of course we want to look for the fate one first to see if anything is going to get moved. And our fate die is the black light die. It typically fills the quarter ends up with an absolute absence of luck, but a feeling that you can keep taking risks because the bad luck has to break eventually. Interesting, it's sitting under fated, and it's also sitting under without. So when I look at that, it's saying, yeah, there's some, this luck has to break eventually. It has to get better eventually. But it's just basically denoting that this is a challenging time and yeah, we get it. It's a challenging time. Now, there's a number of other die around it that are going to influence that. So I'm not too concerned right now about that particular die and where it has fallen. And let's see, when we look for the actions die, and we see it, actually, it's sitting outside the mat. So we're going to ignore it. The alchemist die is sitting in the past, and it is the one that is denoted as tin. It's the wise person medal, something that brings out the strength in other things when paired well. On its own, not as useful. Well, it is linked with another couple of die here. It does form sort of a triangle in the past. So we will come to that. Our Alleyman die is sitting in the present. And it's that cute little performer figure. So it's a little stick figure with a show hat. And it's basically saying it's how we perform ourselves, our names, our gender, our identities. It's the face we wear when we speak to our co-workers. So it's basically talking about it in that respect. When it's paired with other die, it often speaks to what the performance is for or what makes it up. And it does have other die around it. So we'll see how that's going to play out. Our attentions die is showing up as neon, also in the present. And it's an attention hog. It draws your eye. It offers a little in return. So this is interesting because we have the performance one. We have the attention die. It can be symbolizing in the macro sense, the things we see going on in the world, a lot of posturing, a lot of people trying to present themselves a certain way, whether we look at that politically or in social influencers, we see a lot of that more surface stuff. And you can kind of look at, are there any ways you're acting on the surface right now? Is there any way you're maybe suppressing something inside of you in order to show up a certain way that's maybe not fully authentic? And ask yourself, why? Is it because you're with people where you don't feel you can be authentic? Is it a situation where you're afraid that something's going to happen if you show up in your authenticity? Feel into what that is for you. Our autumn die is showing up in the future as a barrel, and it is called stores. So it says it's a time to gather and prepare for the end of autumn. Set aside more than you need to make through the upcoming dry patch. You need goods, food to survive the winter. You likewise need money stowed away. So it's saying in the immediate future, start thinking about where can you save more. So it's suggesting that there's going to be some changes, and we're seeing it already. We're seeing food is more expensive, gas is more expensive. It's saying really pay attention to that. This is not going to be a quick change. It's saying this month is really a time to start looking at your budgeting and whether or not you need to start putting away more for the future. So that's good practical advice. And if we go to, let's get the chaos die, because it just took right off. It says there's enough going on in the world. You don't need more chaos from me. And the elements die showing up in the past is the wind. And it's characterized as nearby dice as fleeting, coming and going or arriving suddenly and leaving almost as suddenly. So we know that we have basically the wise person's die, the strength derived. But it says in terms of fleeting, it's saying don't dwell too much in the past. You derived whatever strength you needed from it, just carry it forward. And we got that a lot last month too, this idea that we're not supposed to spend a whole lot of time focusing on the past now. We very much need to be present, need to be here for the experiences we're having. Our Goblin die is showing up here. It's a little cog. And it's showing up under momentum. So how is it fueling the future? And it speaks to the movement to making a thing real. So bringing things into reality. So it's interesting to me that the other one we got in the future is the one saying start putting your money away. It's saying in the near future, it's a time to be very practical. So look at practicality here as the next thing that you have to focus on. The influencer's die is showing up also in the future. And it is this smile. And it says it speaks to people trying their best even if what they give you is useless. So it's all about good intentions. And it's basically well-intentioned behavior. So seeing it paired with stores, it's saying, you may find even with the best of intentions, you're not able to put as much away as you would like to. So again, this comes down to being a very practical time. You're going to do the best you can and, try not to fret if you're not able to do as much as you would like to in terms of being practical in the coming future. You just do what you can do. The kindness die shows up in the past as gifted. And it's something you've graciously gifted to another, or you might be in need to do for somebody for you to do it for you. Because it's showing up in the past, it says to me, we've got the strength, the gift, and the wind, which is the fleeting one, saying the strengths that you've derived from the past, they can come and go, so don't focus too much on them. Keep your attention in the present and the future. Don't dwell on the past. We are in a very much changing world, so being present is absolutely necessary for all the experiences we're having now and how we move through them. Our longings die is showing up in the present, and it is called sanctity. So it looks like a little Buddha figure. And it identifies elements that you don't wish to change, but let go of or have others meddle with. So it's sanctity in mind represents an unwillingness and disinterest in changing your thought process. So when you look at this, it's suggesting that there's some stubbornness around this. It says all nearby dice may be related. So in other words, it's interesting because we have neon, which is about putting on, a false face. Performance, which is very much about the same sort of thing. This neon's about the attention getting, like, look at me. The performance one is look at the false me. And the sanctity one is saying, and I don't want to show you anything else. So it's really emphasizing that in the present, we have work to do on recognizing where we are not showing up honestly, and we're hanging on to certain ideas about ourselves. We're not willing to change. We don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to take the mask off. We don't want people to see what's going on under the surface. And remember that nothing's ever carved in stone. We're being told right now we're in resistance. And if we work on that resistance and if we shift on it, all of the future stuff can change. But it's saying this is where things are going if we choose not to do the work. So this is a really interesting focus here of looking at in what ways am I resisting maybe being vulnerable, maybe looking at things about myself I don't normally want to look at. In what ways do I need to change? Do I need to grow? and being willing to address those things rather than let them just fester inside of you and find the future. Because, you know, the universe won't reward us for not doing the work. So if we're finding things going forward, we're not as abundant as we would like to be, we can look at, okay, in what ways am I blocking that? In what ways am I saying, I don't want to look at this, I don't want to do that work, I just want to be comfortable. And so if we're not willing to be uncomfortable on the inside, because we're looking at those things that are hard to look at, the universe isn't going to give us comfort externally. You know, if you're willing to deal with the turmoil that comes up, you're willing to face that stuff, the universe tends to generate more for us externally, because it says, okay, you're on your path. I'm going to support you being on your path. There's energy for you on your path. All right. And now we come to the Major's die, which is a balloon floating way off in the beyond. It's so far off the map you can't, well, it's on the map, but just on the map that you can't see it. And it speaks to the extremities of joy as it comes to us in short bursts. So it's interesting to me because it's pretty close to the dice that says, you know, this is not necessarily a fortunate time, but bad luck can't last forever. It's saying there'll be moments of joy. But it's also saying, because it's connecting to that dice, don't be so attached to things being good that when something goes wrong, you just give up. You just go, well, you know, this is just bad. Again, be in the moment. There's always good moments to balance out the ones that aren't great. So it's saying don't try to attach so much to, but I want to be in a state of joy, that you don't know what to do with things when something goes awry. Instead of just going, no, this is all part of the situation too. What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? Our Mariner's die is showing up under momentum. So we know that this dice was all about the mechanism of practicality going forward. Our Mariner's die is the anchor. So when it's paired with another die, it tells the story of where the resting period is, or if you're about to begin it. So it's the issues tend to come with knowing when to drop it or raise it and how much chain to give it. So it offers stability, weight, and respite from a long journey. So in other words, it's showing up here saying, this is the time to be practical, but the future isn't just work, work, work. It's also going to be a time to take breaks, keep doing the internal work, look at what's coming up for you and how do you face it. So it's saying there's practicality, but there's also internal rest, just the letting go and seeing, okay, there's some things I don't have control over here, and I'm not going to put too much energy into that. I'm going to put my energy into what I can control, or what I can address, what I can be effective in. And that's the thing to remember. Where can we be effective? Instead of just going, well, I can't do anything about that, so I'll do nothing. It's like, no, focus on, there's always something we can do, right? Even if it's just showing kindness to a neighbor, caring about other people, taking care of ourselves. There's always something we can do. So the caterpillar shows up under Fated, and it's the quiet patience. It's in its larval stage. So it's when you gather materials for your work and for your transformation. So that's interesting because that's like right in Fated, and we still have 2 more die there. So we're going to see how those play out as well. And our obstacles die is showing up right here, kind of hovering out of the past. And it's a clock, and it's yet to come. So it views time as the thing keeping you from things you want as explicitly as a barrier as it can be. Things are not yet in their right place, so nothing's quite ready. Because it's showing up under history and moving toward foundation, it's saying some pieces haven't dropped into place yet. Some of the things that you've been working on aren't ready to be made manifest yet. So you're going to have a little patience. Things are still shifting, and they're shifting a lot. So it's saying some of the changes that are coming are still maybe in the non-manifest stage, but they're coming. So it's basically that you're going to have to be patient and let those things unfold. The relations die shows up under the present, and it shows up as self. Not surprising when we consider the other die we've read here so far are very much about the self, about that resistance to doing the work that we need to do. Self is actually neutral though. It's neither good or bad, it makes no value judgment in itself. It's just open to whatever else is going on. So when it's found outside the core, it means the self is there wherever it lands. Well, it's landing in the present. So it's very much saying be present with that resistance. Don't ignore it. Don't brush it aside. Do the work on it. Be willing to look at it. Okay, our spring die is showing up as the jester. And again, it's just off the map. Well, just off of your view. It's under fated. And it's saying what element wears the hat. So the jester is the fool of the tarot. It's about starting new journeys, but doing so without wisdom, knowledge, or awareness. You're just going for it. So sometimes it means you're taking a fall if you're not thinking the situation through. Interesting that it hovers above the fate one. That's about things not being lucky. So in other words, it's saying as you move forward, pay more attention to what you do. Don't just leap for something only to find you made a mistake because you didn't take a closer look at it and didn't look at whether that's the right decision. For example, I don't know if you've noticed this, but I've been getting a lot more phishing emails and phishing phone calls. And it's really easy to be deceived by them and hit, oh, something must have happened with my credit card, press 1. And now you've just given your information to the wrong people. So it's saying this is a time to just really think before you take a leap, really double check on stuff before you just say yes to something so that you just don't end up in a bind that you don't want to be in. Our suits die is showing up under present and it's discs. So it is so it speaks to the material world of things grounded in reality. And the characterization is with other die. So in other words, it's about the material world, and it's basically getting to what I was saying before. If we stay stubborn, if we stay in resistance, we're not going to get our material needs met. So we're really being called on. We're up against the wall there. Look at whatever it is you have not been wanting to look at. And if you're not sure what that is, book an appointment with me. We'll tap in, we'll find out what it is. We'll give you some tools to work with to get you there. But it's very much saying, this is the work right here in the present, right now. What are you resisting? What do you not want to look at? What are you shoving under the rug? If you want things to go more smoothly going forward, you're going to have to face it. Under fated, we have the sun. And the sun die is a time of joy and happiness, interestingly enough. So it says, if found with faces carrying negative connotations, such as the ones we have here, foolishness, bad luck, it says it may not mean the loss or run of your joy, but that you'll survive it through the positive aspects of your life and even come out in the end smiling. So considering we have that one and the joy one showing up, and they kind of frame the other die. And, we have the cocooning die there, the one that's saying, there's this inner work to do. I would say when I look at how they're surrounding the foolishness and bad luck ones, they're saying there's going to be some challenges ahead, but it's going to be mitigated if you do this work. And there's going to be joy, and you're going to come out of it okay. So that's encouraging. So now we come to the Maiden of Winter. That's our card. And when she comes up in a reading, she brings with her a meditative mindset. She carries her mirror not to force you to judge your features, but to force you to face them, to be honest, to see what is, not just what you remember to be. It's a heavy reminder of what has changed, what's been lost, but also what remains and what may yet come out of it. Patient contemplation is what's called for. Makes perfect sense that that is the card we're getting that is framing this reading. Yes? It's so much about sit and do this inner work. It's time of meditation. Our winter die is showing up just on the edge of the past, and it is a mirror. And it says it's time for patience, thought, and reflection. It means to look at yourself. So interesting, it's this die, the one that's the clock, says not everything has fallen into place yet. There's some work to do to look at yourself. This is very much saying get over the idea of the false image. Be willing to show up real and vulnerable and show up for yourself. Look at what it is you don't want to look at. Because going forward, there's going to be some practical challenges. And there's going to be some things that don't quite go the way you want them to. But that might shift if you do this inner work, if you move out of resistance. And then if we go to the wounds die, which is our last die, and we see this one is sitting in the inevitable, and that's the one that looks like a wounded hand. And it's basically saying, it suggests there will be pain. The severity of the pain and the type will often depend on where it ends up. Well, in this case, it ends up under inevitable. So it's saying, yeah, there's going to be some pain. This isn't going to be easy. But hey, that's not what we signed up for. We signed up to be here to awaken. And awakening often happens outside our comfort zone. So if we want to move ahead, we have that difficult inner work to do to face what we don't want to look at, that can help us. It'll bring up whatever we need to bring forward, and that can start to shift our reality. But don't attach to outcome. It's not like, I'll do this work as long as it works out well. It's, I'll do this work because it's what my soul came here to do. I came here to wake up. So it's, the whole idea is I'm willing to do what it takes to awaken. And what I can suggest is, if you're not sure what you're in resistance to, think about something. Maybe somebody has suggested to you recently that you were like, no, there's no way I'm going to do that. It's not just a, well, I could take it or leave it. It's a strong emotional response to something. And that's where the resistance is. That means there's a lot of emotional energy attached to that, which means there's something there to look at. Might be a core pattern being triggered, might be a facet of your shadow self that's trying to come to the surface, and you're fighting it because the ego doesn't like change. But notice where you have a strong emotion around something and lean in that direction. All right. Well, I shall see you next month. Thanks for stopping by.